Yeah, sure.
You are very welcome to this episode of the Mindful Living Guide. For the first time ever in all of our episodes, we actually have two guests on today. We're extremely lucky to have Laura Hillier Brady and Amanda Ringrose. And I'm really excited about this chat. I don't know if anyone's ever seen any of their videos together, and they're the just most bubbly, happy people that I've ever met. And you can even hear them chatting away and bubbling and laughing in the background. Laura and Amanda, you're so welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you for having us, Stephen. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a bit of fun. Hopefully you have a bit of fun now the next little while.
Like I said before we came on, there's never anything serious on this. We know no laughing because life is too serious sometimes.
So agree. So agree. We can
And
take
we
it too
have now
seriously.
left the room.
Come here, listen, bring me back. How you guys, you mentioned that you two of you met, Laura, you've been teaching in your own school for many, many years. And Amanda, you came in as a student one time. That's how you
Yeah,
the
well,
partnership came together.
I've been in social work for over 30 years, in addition to other things. But during that time, when you're in social work, you get tired and burnt out. And you're like, I'm leaving totally. So I went and tried to find something alternative for myself. And I was always into the healing arts anyway. So I went to Walmer College to do massage therapy. And Laura actually taught me massage therapy. So that was about 16 years ago. So we've kept very much connected in and out of each other's lives the last probably 16 years. But then the last 2 years really ran back together to start a business together. And it's just been fun. And that was one of the criteria we had actually with each other, is like, if we're going to do something, it has to have the crack. Like, we just have to have fun as well as teaching and helping people. But we need to have fun because that's energy.
Yeah.
It is, and like there's so many different energy. And sorry, Laura, I'm cutting over you there. If
Oh no, I was gonna say, like that, Stephen. Yeah, like I've been in the industry for the last 30 years. So I've had my own college. And it was actually when I left the college back in 2013, people were like, oh, but you are the college. And I was like, oh my God, please, I'm not identified by by something outside of me. So actually that's when I really went and did my own research. So I went in and went across the world really to understand, really have an understanding of the mind body connection, even though I taught it and talked about it for years. But it was really when I actually did my own work after that I really start to get it.
and was that own work that you did on yourself, or was that more
Yeah,
research? Or
like by going to so many different seminars, like as I said, like Louise Hay, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Abraham Hicks, all of these amazing people. Like I really went and searched and delved into my own stuff and sat with my own stuff and really understood, allowed the stickiness come up, because I was always so busy with the college, and I was always running from class to talking to clients, to talking to students. So actually it was allowing myself space to actually know, well, who am I? Because other people identified me so much with something outside of me, I really had to go and find. I know that's the very cliche, go find yourself, but I
no,
did.
but it's so true. Like that, there's so
Yeah.
many of us that we're helping other people. We're in our own journeys and our own work, and we don't take the time to kind of step back and kind of just look into ourselves and just look into what really is important to us. And I think, like Amanda, you mentioned as well, like you were working in social care in a very tough setting, for say for a long time. That brought you on that journey as well.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a process through life, and I think there's lots of different stages in life we go through, and we grow. We choose to grow or not grow, or we stay stuck. So oftentimes we can get stuck, and there's been plenty of times I've been stuck in my life, and I've kind of had to, figure out a way to get out of that space. And I've been very fortunate to be able to do that and have people in my life that have been very helpful in those situations, and we help each other as some little small communities. But absolutely, like I think that we grow constantly. Every day we grow. And we get up, some of the things that we do is we've learned so much putting our course together, or our, business together the last 2 years, is that we choose to get up every morning and we choose to learn something new. And that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
So even on those days, you're like, I actually don't get up anymore. Sometimes you go to work, you'd be like, oh, I have so much stuff to do today. I have to go to court, I have to do this, and you're so busy before you even get out of the bed that you've already got yourself exhausted before you even get into the shower. But now my life is really good in that I am able to then just go, this is what I have on today. Today's going to be, I know it's already set up. So I know it's really going to be it's going to be productive. And whatever comes my way, I'm going to have a lesson out of it. And that's a good thing. Good or bad, I choose to take it as that. So it's a
sorry,
shift.
I've a line that I always say is like, when you're always challenged with something, is like, right, what is this situation teaching me?
Yeah.
And it's all about just changing that perspective. Like yourself, you're saying there is that, like, we can often kind of ruminate over so many different things over the, like, that we have coming up that day, or else we can just go out and just take action and just look for the lesson in it. It's like, sometimes life can be hard. Like, it's like what's that saying years ago, that if life was just a flat line, we'd be all dead. Where
Yeah,
it has to go up and
100%.
down. We need that up and down all the way through, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it's about community too. I think it is about building friendships and relationships that are healthy and that energetically are able to support each other. And I think that's what some of the stuff that we do. And one of our commitments to our work is that we build community around this, so that people know how to find those supports, or if you have the supports, how you can bring them to a space that really is productive for everybody involved in those relationships or within that support network or system. So that could be family, that can be friendship groups, that can be work groups, anyone that you're connected with in your life.
Yeah, and I'd even say even more than like that as well, is that, you know, people who've done work with us and they go off and because we're so positive, they're like, how are you so positive? But also understanding that when your stuff starts to come up and when you start to actually do this work, like, it's not all positive.
No.
It can be sticky. And it's there to, you know, it's there to have that, like, as you just said, that support. It's nice to have people around us that understand that actually, you know what, it's giving space to them to allow that stuff come up and go, actually, it's okay, we have you, you're here. And just allowing the time, the energy, the issues from the tissues rise up, and it just doesn't always feel positive. So it's nice to know that there's that community around you to support you.
Yeah.
And one word is, I think we've all said it a few times over the last few minutes, it's like, it's space. It's like giving ourselves that space just to grow. And like that space can start from literally just taking 10 seconds breath before you walk in a room, to just growing and just going to events and just building that place in our mind where we can actually just let things settle. You know, I was only speaking last week there, it was about a quote from Alan Watts about like muddy, what's the exact quote? It'll come to me later, but it's basically about muddy water, that if you keep stirring up muddy water, it's not going to settle, you know. That's the exact same with our minds.
Yeah
Completely. And I suppose the big thing for us too is that, you know, we do recognize, and we've seen through our work, like, life is very difficult at times, and there's moments that you're just like, oh my God, is this it? Like, is this all I have to do now? It's the routine. But there are small techniques and tools that you can use and activate in your life that can create that space that we're talking about. But sometimes we're so busy and we're so routine focused. Now, routines are good, but sometimes if you're not doing, you can do more into that routine that's going to actually generate more energy. If we're able to do that, we know how to do that. That shifts that route, changes that energy in your regular routine so that you're in a different space in your head.
Yeah, but that's becoming conscious. They're the conscious moments where you're like, okay. And I know, I'm sure you've heard of Bruce Lipton. He says like 95% of the time we are unconscious, like we're walking around asleep. So it's catching those glimpses of day-to-day moments that you're like, you catch yourself. Or I remember every Monday morning I used to get on the train and going in to do different talks with corporate. And I used to nearly scare people because I'd nearly get into their spot walking up and down the train station, and everyone had their spot. And I thought this was so funny. And I was like, gosh, like, it is habitual, like, where people like, you know, so it's kind of to wake up and go, actually, I think I'll stand over here this morning. Then you're awake. Then you're like literally awake at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning with your coffee. But it's that conscious moments that change it, that can change everything.
It's amazing bringing that conscious awareness into our life, that exactly like you say, there's so many, like I talk sometimes about just turning off that autopilot. And is there something that even just people go for a walk every day at lunchtime and they see the exact same thing, but if they focus on trying to see something new, they'll notice so many other amazing things around them. And it comes back into mindfulness, about being fully present. And when you're living in an autopilot every single day, it's so hard to become present and just bring awareness into it. If you could think of like just any sort of tips, if someone is like constantly in that routine, it could be family, it could be work. Is there any tips that you'd give somebody just to bring space and bring some conscious awareness into their life?
Well, personally, because I'm still working with my massage clients, I've often said, guys, if you have a bottle of water in the car, every time you take a sip of your bottle of water, you take a breath. Or even I'd say to them, like, if you're going to text, if there's somebody who texts you or emails you like 3 times a day, that can be your moment. You're almost creating a new habit, but it's a positive habit for yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, that person or your best friend or your partner phone texts you, take the breath. Take the breath. Make that something that you consciously do when they actually contact you. And then you could do it. I even say it with teenagers, like do it with your best friend, make it a thing that it's your time, that when you text each other, it's your time to breathe. Takes a second. It's a moment. They're glimpses.
Yeah. And also, I suppose with that breath piece, what we would do, well, I've done it as well, you've done it, we teach people how to do it, is just to remind people, is that when you're taking that breath, you're actually slowing down your process into fight or flight. And so you're able to regulate yourself so that you will actually respond to somebody as opposed to react to somebody. Because our normal routine is somebody might be coming by, say in our office or in the work or at home, and there's something they do that just annoys you every single time. And as soon as they do it, you react like that. And then things can ensue from that. Like you can get narky with each other, or you just like get irritated yourself. But if you're taking that breath and kind of just taking a second, it helps just regulate it, kind of go a reminder to yourself, okay, this is actually okay. Like, what's the big deal here? It's not something I need to stress about. Because when I start to do that, I start to give my power away by giving my energy to somebody else. And I need to choose where I'm putting my energy today. So there are choices in those breath moments, or in those little moments, we make conscious choices to hold our own energy and not to give it out if we don't need to.
Yeah. But energy flows where energy goes. So wherever you give your attention, like literally you're giving somebody else your precious power and your precious energy. So I agree with that. And again, that can be habitual, where you walk in because you're doing something, a routine every day, and you are bumping into that person every day. And if you realize that that is your trigger, if you just become aware that they're your trigger, that it's awareness is, for me, is everything. If you just can become a little bit more aware and go, oh God, they're making me feel that way, just turn away from them. Turn away. Be aware, like, that they're going in for a coffee at 11. You go at 11:11.
But you don't, like, the key there as well, you don't have to react either.
No.
That there's one thing I talked about recently, actually, and it was about introducing positive triggers to your life. That, like, you can say, like, that person's going for a coffee that really annoys me at 11:10. But could you introduce some, oh, that's a reminder that I have to take a breath, rather than kind of flip the script a bit and try and see something positive from that. Because like we're saying, it's an unconscious awareness. Sometimes we don't even realize. I have a name for it, is our automatic react system, or our ARS. And sometimes our ARS gets
so true. It is so true. Like, and it is. And even like chemically, like what you're doing to your body. I love the anatomy behind it. So I'm like, but even like, knowing what you're doing, like every time you have that reaction, your hypothalamus is kind of gone, oh my God, this person automatically annoys me. And then you have your lovely pituitary gland, who's actually, spinning a lot of biochemicals into the body, and then you have a reaction with your adrenal glands, and then you're actually inflaming your own body, your own system, every time you do that. So even knowing that knowledge, it's like, actually, I can heal myself by not even, not even dealing with that person, or just, as you said, take the moment consciously to come back down and actually go, you know what, I love me, bring it back to me, and then actually start secreting a different set of hormones. For me, that's the power. Wow.
The other piece we do a lot, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The other piece we do a lot is around the boundaries, because we just love boundaries. So with the boundary piece is that, and empathy. Okay, so it's being in that space where you're able to step out of yourself and look at the other person and go, okay, there must be something really difficult or challenging for them today. And that's unfortunate. However, I have my boundary here, in that I can have an energy boundary around me that allows me to empathize with what they're going through, but not connect to that energetically. And that's where we shift into a completely different place then. So we're now seeing it from an empathetic point of view, while still minding ourselves and our own energy and our own space and our own mindset, but we're still able to feel the human part of that, which is so important, because very few people have an easy life. There's always something for all of us that it's thrown at us that we have to deal with. So it's about getting back into that space of empathy and understanding that not everybody's going to have a good day, but it doesn't have to impact us. And you can send the good vibes, or just send that, in your own mind, say, God, I can see where they're coming from, so I'm not going to let that impact me, because this is not actually about me. This is about where they are right now. And that's knowing yourself, really. And we do a lot of that work with people, is getting to know yourself.
Knowing your own values and where you're
completely
coming from.
Yeah. And for me, like, again, it's the energy, like understanding our energy, understanding that we have this energy bubble around us, that it's our own inner torus field that goes out 2 meters, and understanding that. And so an awful lot of people, I would say, zip up and look up. Zip up and look up. And it's, and we actually do it through kind of kinesiology testing. And I actually, when we're working with people, we show them how one look can actually take you down energetically, because it taps into your insecurities. And so when somebody looks at you and they actually drop their eyes, they go down into your solar plexus, which is where we actually give our energy and our power away. And then as soon as you actually intentionally zip up in like an imaginary zip up and look up, it changes your energy field, and their energy bounces off you then as well. So those are the little tips, are because you're dealing with the quantum field, you're dealing with your own vibration, you're dealing with what goes out comes back. So if you can hold that and seal that on an energy level with boundaries, you're onto a winner.
There's loads of other things.
What I love though as well,
is like 4 days long, so it's 4 days.
It's what I love though, what you're talking about though, is the sense of empathy as well. Is that many people that you feel trigger you, it's like I've got young kids, and it's like one of the ones you said, she made me angry, or she made me do this, or he made me do that. And that sometimes bringing a small bit of empathy into it, you can realize that they're not actually it's you that's making that decision to feel like that. But they're not doing that on purpose. There's something happening inside, and it could be chemical. It could be something emotionally inside them, that I think sometimes when we bring that kind of empathetic part to it, it's like people that are familiar with mindfulness might be familiar with a meditation called love and kindness. And that how when we send love and kindness to people, whether that's someone we love or that's someone that we have difficulties with, that it energetically changes your relationship with that person. And you don't have to totally understand or respect exactly where they're coming from, but it's just bringing that small bit of empathy into it to kind of say, right, well, maybe that's not happening on purpose, and that can give you that little space between that reaction and that responding.
If you can look at that and go, God, she's in panic right now, like something's happened. What I want to do right now is help her and give her a hug or feed whatever it is that she's needing in that moment. But in order for you to do that, you have to be in that space in your heart. You have to be in that empathy space in order to be able to give that and open your own heart to go, okay, it's so not about me right now. I need to see how I can help her. It's a really good point you made.
Yeah, but again, like if you're in fight or flight, you're never going to see them. You're never going to see that space. So it's up to us. It'll always come back to you, and coming back to how you are chemically, emotionally, physically, mentally, if to allow that space for somebody else. So it is because, fight or flight will not meet another fight or flight with connection.
That's true. It's like two opposites just off each other.
100%. Yeah.
The one of your things I want to talk about, and obviously your course is about resilience as well. Where do you think, like last week actually, I was talking to a guy called Endo Doherty, and he did some unbelievable challenges. He walked the length of Ireland with a washing machine on his back. He went up Kilimanjaro with it just to raise awareness for people. And he had such depth of resilience of like literally the amount of times things went wrong. Where do you think people find resilience from?
I think a lot of that has to do with our experiences. And I think it's because resilience is really your ability to bounce back, how we manage difficult, challenging things in our lives. There are a series of challenges that have happened.
Yeah.
And I think that we get the strength from that because sometimes we have no choice but to get up and move forward. And that's where you start to build your resilience up. So I think it comes over a lifetime for a lot of people. People have different life experiences. So the way that they, or the amount of resilience they have, is going to be different for each person. And I think it's a choice to kind of go, at some point you get to a place, people might even not realize they have resilience, but we do have it. It's just igniting that within ourselves and realizing it's there and go, actually, all that stuff that happened to me, if I look back at that and I look at where I am right now, it was resilience probably that got me to this place, along with other things. But resilience was one of the things that pushed you through those difficult times. So often it's the language that we use that we don't identify that with, things that we already have inside of ourselves that we're unaware of totally.
Yeah, and I would even go deeper as well, like, experience, but connecting to that deeper knowing, that absolute knowing within yourself, that we have so many attributes within us that if we can just tap into it, and as you said earlier on, like it's flipping the script, it's instead of going, I can't go, oh, you know what, I got this, and it's, the more we actually talk to ourselves, that inner talk can actually build us up and build our intention, build our resilience, build our, as I said, just that inner knowing that you can do this. But it does, everything for me starts with a thought. Everything starts with a thought. So you either flip the script, or as Amanda says, you have the choice to just stay where you are and stuck. So that's what the resilience comes from. It's thoughts.
Yeah.
And you were saying about that inner belief. A lot of people talk about affirmations and about that just talking to yourself in the present tense where you have this. And
yeah.
What's your opinions on affirmations? Because some people, it's hit or miss with some people.
Yeah, well, I did the Louise Hay training, so I'm a Louise Hay workshop leader as well. So affirmations for me, and I remember even doing a presentation in front of the group, and they were saying, oh, I do my affirmations. I said, but do you do them with intention? Do you do them with intention? Do you do them God believing it and knowing it? Because you can say something like 100,000 times a day and ream it off, like we've all done it in school, know, but there is no intention behind it, and it changes I'm going back to the chemicals, because it's the science behind it. Like, it changes everything. And when you say it with belief, you're stimulating your heart chakra, you're stimulating your heart energy, and then, as I said, we are vibrating beings. So whatever we believe about ourselves, you're going to vibrate out and then attract that experience back. So that's where the affirmation for me comes in. It's like, yeah, I am enough. You know what? I am enough. I've got this. Instead of just going, I'm enough. It becomes there's no energy behind it.
Yeah. When you connect into the energy, you connect into your power source.
Yes.
Right, and that makes a huge difference. So there's lots of people over the years that we've both worked with who are in their 20s, 30s, who really still struggle with the sense of who they truly are. They have an identity, like Laura talked about earlier, like you're attached to an identity because you have a school, because you're a teacher, because you have a job. But do people actually know what their true identity to themselves is? And when you talk about loving kindness and the affirmations, it's about that as well. Being kind to yourself. We nurture other people, but we forget to nurture ourselves. And sometimes those affirmations, when they're connected to your energy and to your heart, they are the ones that create the shift and build that sense of, I am enough, or I'm actually, it's people are actually lucky. And this is not in a cocky way, but it's in a way that people are really lucky that I'm in their life as well. I give people lots of things if they're in a friendship relationship with me, as they give me, because it's an open exchange of information, emotion, all of those things, and there's a good connection. But it's not somebody taking from you all of the time, or you allowing that to happen because you have a value on yourself. That's where people are missing, and that's where those affirmations can be very, very helpful.
Powerful. And it's funny, actually, I remember I had a thought back as you were talking there about when you mentioned love and kindness again, and I remember when I did my teacher training, and one of the most difficult parts a lot of people find with love and kindness is not giving it to someone they don't like, but actually giving it back to themselves. And we used to have part of Alexa where first of all you'd actually visualize your best friend, and you'd visualize your arm around your best friend, and you'd send love and kindness to them. Then you send love and kindness to both of you, and then you'd maybe let your friend just disappear in the background and maybe just send that to yourself. And it was a gentle way of actually bringing it to ourselves. And but it's amazing that if you try somebody who struggles with that to suddenly just send some love and energy back to yourself, it can be very hard. A lot of people, maybe they haven't felt it much in their life, maybe they haven't experienced it, and just to send that back to themselves.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I remember growing up, and when you do something positive for yourself, people will be just like, or you said something nice about yourself, or you were confident and you played a really good game of basketball, and you'd be like, God, I played brilliant today. People are like, would you just get over yourself now? You're above your station, or don't be so cocky, or it was a lot of times it was a negative response, which then taught us growing up that, okay, I can't really say anything nice or positive about what I've achieved or myself or anything like that. And then you get into that pattern and that routine of doing that. So I think that it's important for us to be able to be open to that and have a laugh. Like, we laugh about it. Like, I will go around saying, yeah, I did that. That was great. God, that was great crack, or that was great fun. And I own it. Like, I'm okay with that. And because that is the truth. In that moment, I did good. And if no one else, even if other people say it, I want to feel that myself, because that is what builds me up inside and keeps me full of my own sense of who I am and my identity. So it's about allowing people and other people acknowledging that and not judging somebody when they do something nice and they do actually say, gosh, I'm really proud that I did that. Get on board with them. It's fantastic that they did that.
Yes.
Why would we be not encouraging that behavior and those, thoughts to other people? But I do think you're right. It's very difficult for people to really find permission to love themselves truly when they're in an environment that doesn't really lend to that. So I think it can be challenging for sure.
Yeah. I remember when I first started doing mirror work and, doing some of the Louise Hay work, she used to say, like, I am willing to love myself. So it was like putting kind of that, making it longer, not just going, I love myself, because it was a little bit hard just kind of go in with that. And I agree with Amanda, it's habitual again. It's, like we as you just said, like, you were kind of put down if you were cocky in any way, going, oh my God. But now I'm actually going, I love myself. I love this. I love this.
I'm very lucky that I live with a pretty cool little 7-year-old, and it's I just love they look at some task they're good and goes, yeah, I'm really good at that. And it's like it's that like when do we lose that? Like when have we, there's so many people now that would just, if they embrace that again, that inner inner child is in us all, that little kind of that, yes, I remember talking, and actually I might have talked about actually the time myself and you were on stage, Laura, and about the first time he learned to jump, and it was like, oh, I can jump with 2 feet, and it was the most exciting thing in the world, and just seeing that pure joy inside him, and it's infectious, it's just to be around people like that, and I think it's around us all, we can if we look out for these little moments just to trigger something inside us,
Yes. Yeah. And it's not to say, it's not, some people might say, oh God, it's all about the bubbly. And it isn't. It's about taking, like you say, it's about those moments, because those moments can shift where you are energetically. It's about understanding and knowing them and how you can manage that yourself and choose to have that in your life if you want to.
It's powerful stuff.
But it's kind of awareness, isn't it? Like, it's awareness. It's capturing those moments. That's awareness. It's like, oh yeah, and look at the joy in their face. And as you said, it is infectious. And we, again, we are programmed to go towards warmth, towards connection, towards positivity. And because our brain doesn't like pain. Like, if somebody is complaining the whole time, we tend to either join in their bubble or run away from them. So again, it's that awareness. Yeah.
There's a question I ask all my guests, and I have to. I'm
You'd be scared.
yeah, have you prepared? But the reason I ask it, because I love the fact that like it's a beautiful conversation, and it's something that a lot of people have different perspectives on, because we're talking about energy healing, we're talking about things, but I just think mindfulness comes into our lives in so many different ways. And one thing I ask all the guests is, what does mindful living mean to you? So if I could ask both of you, so Amanda first, like if you could look at like how to live your life in a mindful way or mindful living, or what does that represent in your life?
In a simple way, I would say being present every day, being present, and being conscious and making choices for yourself, understanding that there's two paths you can go. You can go down your regular routines and subconscious and do everything, and you can people have a good life that way, or you can have an even more enriched life that makes you have conscious choices every day, and that's where your growth happens. So for me, it is about being present. If it was one word, it would be present. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
And Laura, like, what if I say the same question to you? Like, what would mindful living mean to you?
I'd say notice the little things, notice the beauty around you, because like I know, like I for me, I'd walk down my road and literally I notice the golden trees, or I notice the birds, or I notice, and it was only that somebody else had said it to me. One of my own gorgeous friends said, "Laura, you say everything is beautiful." Even my dog, every time I go, "Oh, look at that beautiful," the dog thinks it's a it's a command, because she looks around and so, "What's beautiful, mommy?" So actually, I would say, yeah, look at the nature, look at beauty, and also gratitude. I would say thank you probably 100 times a day. I'm so grateful for everything. I'm so grateful, and it's actually it is my mantra, but it's a mantra with intention. I'm so grateful. Yeah.
And it's so important that what you finished that with, is that it's with intention, and goes back to what we were saying about affirmations, and that it's easy to just wind these things off, or to say gratitude. Yeah, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for, but to actually just feel it, and like it's like you're talking about like chemically inside. I'm sure gratitude is also releasing something chemically as well.
Oh, I could talk about that for 1,000 years.
That's all the podcast.
Yeah. Yes, serotonin, oxytocin.
We're doing that for Valentine's Day.
Yes, we're going to do it for Valentine's. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Listen, the energy between the two of you is just phenomenal. I'm sitting here, and inside I'm laughing and full of warmth here. I'm just like, oh, you can feel, actually, anyone that's actually listened to the podcast, you won't see that there's about 20 times I've actually talked to the girl, and I've actually put my hand on my heart chakra, and it's just it's an amazing energy. If people want to spend 4 days with you, how do they go about it?
Okay, so our website is www.mindbodyresilienceSchool.com, and we have our 4-day course coming up in February the 20th to the 24th, and it's in Glendalough Sanctuary. And that, I know. And then we're actually running one in March again, and that'll be in Tala, in the another beautiful sanctuary. So just go onto our website.
Yeah, they've got the list for the whole year when our courses are going to be running.
Wow, and this, if do you mind if I ask? Because I bring guests on, and most of the time I'm just nosy for myself.
I love it.
Tell me a bit about this course and the type of people that would be attracted to it.
Okay, so the course is it's the first ITech accredited course that was been awarded in Ireland. So it's the Energy Resilience Workshop Leader course is the title of it. It's a 50-hour course. And it has 50 CPDs for people at the end that they can bring to their different disciplines. So like it could go to the social work, which is Corú, it could go to nursing, go anywhere. So it's really for people who want to create a shift, to really want to understand about how to really integrate energy and have your, get your own power in relation to that back, how to make shifts in your relationships, friendships, how all that works. And also in the corporate world and teams and managing teams, how do you manage like 5 people on a team who think differently, maybe, who have different energies coming in and out? How do you manage that and make it better for your teams? So it's really around anyone who wants to make those shifts and learn more about it. I'm probably leaving loads out, Laura.
Yeah. For me, it's also for people who want to host like groups or workshops.
Oh yeah.
So people who like have done maybe like yoga or Pilates, or have already got their groups and want to actually bring more of the modalities into it. So there are 7 modules, and so the modules would be like your mind-body connection, understanding energy and resilience, and then understanding then boundaries, EFT, understanding all the different tools and techniques to actually tap into our own stuff, as well as breath work, self-care and movement. So it's to be able to go in and actually give a whole holistic program to, as you said, corporates, women's groups, guy groups. So wherever you feel in the community it would benefit, which is everyone. So yeah, everyone can do the course.
Yeah. We actually, what's really great about it is it's a workshop leader. So it gives people the tools, the actual workbook and everything, to go out when they leave our course, to go out and be able to set up a wellness program within their community, within their workplace, within their friendship, wherever they want to do, and open up a little spot for themselves in that world. Then there's a follow-up. Every 6 weeks, we do a follow-up Zoom with all the participants and graduates as a support, because we really are about building community and supporting people create that change. So we do that with them every 6 weeks to help them build that community with us, but also to support. So we want people to do the program and do something with it. We don't want it to be a program people come to and then just go, oh God, I remember I did that program last year. I never did anything with it. We actually want people to create the change for themselves, but also for everybody else around them. So it's actually we're actually really, really proud of it. We spent a lot of time and really trying to hone in on the pieces that we felt were really important, that would be available for everybody to access, and that it would make a difference collectively in our communities and in the world, really. So
that's fantastic. So it can be applicable to any sort of industry. So if you're drawn towards really helping people to build resilience within your own industry, that I definitely would recommend reaching out to Laura and Amanda on this. And like they said, check out the website, which is I had it up here a second ago in front of me. What's the website?
mindbodyresilienceSchool.com.
Mind Body Resilience School, yeah. And what I'll do is I'll make sure that on our show notes that there is there is ways that people can connect with you, because I honestly think that I've looked at a lot of courses over the last while for just something that would really make an impact on the ground for people. And this one, I think, really will. That if you're in that type of trainer, facilitator, that this could really make a difference to your business and give you a packaged workshop that you could actually go out and build in your own community and put your own spin on it as well, which is
100%.
Completely.
Yeah, it's actually been really interesting to watch. Graduates already have completed the course, and at the end they have to present for an hour, and it's amazing what they've done. The ideas, what they've actually come, and it's lovely to hear our words, but then they actually totally took their own spin and brought their own modalities in it, and we had a ball. We really enjoyed it and we learned. So we're always learning, Stephen. We're always learning.
And I think that's a nice way to finish it, because it is so important that just to realize that life is a journey, and like we are all learning upon this journey. And I was talking about last week, it's about just dancing every single week, every single day, and just making sure that you're enjoying that dance, whatever is coming up in your life. So listen, Amanda, Laura, thank you so much for coming on and giving up your moment to chat to me about this. And thank you for coming on the Mindful Living Guide.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Cheers. Have a fabulous day.
Yeah, enjoy yourself. Bye.
Bye. Oh, hang on.